نعم.
حاج طيب، كيف حالك؟
أهلا.
حالك باهي؟
الله يسلمك.
لك قايد بيك.
ماشي.
لك معي؟
Tayeb el Safi was one of Muammar Gaddafi's closest henchmen.
شنو هذا وقتكم؟ انتم وين الثوريين 40 عام نخرف عليكم
لا لا
انت لما كيف قصكم صغير نربي فيكم في اسمها ايه؟
لا عندك حق. لا عندك حق.
ليش اسمها هذيك تاجور ولا شنو؟
صح.
انك لابس بدلة رياضة وجيتك وشديت.
لا صح. لا صح.
ان شاء الله تكون طيب.
لا صح.
Tayeb el Safi was respected and trusted by Gaddafi's son and heir apparent Saif al-Islam.
واليوم غادي انت كبير المدبرين عندنا.
But Tayeb el Safi was largely unknown to the outside world. Even among Libyans, he's a bit of a mystery. Few knew who he is or what he was doing.
Tayeb el Safi. I never heard about him before. I only heard about him in this revolution.
I know that he was with Gaddafi, but that's it.
I only heard about him just now, during the revolution, that he is one of Gaddafi's associates.
Still, he played an important role throughout the conflict. One of the very few men who had the power to issue orders of his own. He was in Benghazi when the uprising began. The audio recordings make it clear that Tayeb el Safi was in charge of containing the rebellion here in the east by any means possible. In fact, it's from this building that he was directing operations until it was overrun by protesters.
أنا في تقديري الآن هم قال الشرطة تروح تضرب عليهم دائرة، ما يكلمهمش قطعا دائرة. المواجهة توا يبدو لي مش صح الليلة. يا اما تكون مواجهة قوية وعنيفة يا اما تكون في مواجهة، عرفت؟
اوكي.
يا تكون في مواجهة عنيفة وقوية
لا من أنا أتحدث.
لكن المواجهة البسيطة عبارة عن تاخذ عواطف الناس تقريبا يتفرجوا.
ولازم أنا أتحدث لما اوكي.
But Tayeb el Safi didn't follow this advice. Instead, he colluded with the head of intelligence, Abdullah al-Senussi, and went back to the same old methods used over and over again to quell Libyan aspirations.
وأنا والله كنت مصر إنهم لازم يمشوا، وأنا عيطت قلت لهم يا جماعة ما تعبوش.
كلموهم يقول لهم أنتم كانت همكم بغازي، ترى إحنا عند الضرورة وبنمارس الساحل ونمارس الصح، يعني بنواجه أي حد بقوة.
ترى يا عبد الله حتى قايل يقول لا لازم بغازي تكون تحت السيطرة، ما تبقوش الأمور يا جماعة الله يهديكم. اليوم كان ظهرتوا قوتكم، هذول يخافوا كل واحد يقول في جحيم.
But his read of the situation was flawed. Protesters had broken the fear barrier. The red line was crossed.
الكلام كده حتى على القاعدة. وين الحرية؟ وين اللي قتلوا وناس اللي طلعوه ونحن ما عادش نستنوا ويعترفوا بالفلوس بتاعهم ها؟ وانا اخش عليه ما طيب اضرب واحدين نجا الثورية جا حرية ما طيب حرام بالضبط.
يعني في الأول كان الكلام اللي بيجينا يعني.
At first we were hearing that people were not calling for the removal of the regime. We were told they had demands. A delegation was sent to Benghazi to listen to the people. It's probably that trip that went wrong. They were supposed to solve the situation, but it turned to violence.
Benghazi fell within 5 days. Tayeb el Safi moved to the capital, and until the very end, he continued to plot and scheme with his vast network of informants for the return of the regime to the east.
وردوا بك تفكروا كيف تدعمهم ماديا ولا بأغذية ولا نرى كلام فاضي. أنا مدربك خلوهم يجوعوا وخلوهم يعانوا.
تفضل كل شيء موجود لكن مش قادر نوصله لك.
مانيش قادر نوصله لك. ايوه بالجواد هي يعني خليها ايش كما يقول تنتعش يصير يعني التركيز يتم عليها بحيث انهم يعرفوا من اللي لهم قريب اهم وضع تم تحسن معهم.
اوكي تمام. والله جيش ولا بسوم تبشحت الكاسة هي نفس العادي جيش النفس تبشحت هذه باقي لنا شرطة منتز الصحفيين كلهم عرفوا سياسية وحتى الرئيس اوباما دوا على الزاوية الحياة في الحياة هذه المدارس هذه السلع التموينية هذه الحياة الطبيعية هذه الأدوية هذه المدينة من غدوة هذه المستشفيات وهذه شرطة عادية قاعدة زي في كاليفورنيا.
هو كل واحد يجيب روحه. وإحنا شرطتنا وعملنا وتطلع الله إن شاء الله. وأنا عايش وأنا واقف ونموت وأنا واقف. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. الموت واحد هنا واحد شفيع.
But the power and force didn't work. Tripoli fell 6 months later, and Tayeb el Safi slipped away. He's currently living in Egypt, But Libya's justice minister wants him back to stand trial.
He was fighting against the revolution. He worked with the regime to ignite the war and commit acts against Libyans. We made a request to Interpol and we wait for governments to hand these people over to us so they can be judged on Libyan soil.
Tayeb el Safi is not the only one. There's a long list of senior members of the former regime who have fled the country. They might not be known internationally, but Libyan people know them very well. And now that there's more and more information about their alleged crimes, there is growing pressure to bring them to justice as soon as possible. Investigators and lawyers have been gathering evidence and building their cases against dozens of members of the former regime.
We cannot build a state without a strong justice system. How do you build a country with everyone on the run? People will know that former regime members were not brought to justice, and that sets a bad example. They will ask why they didn't face trial.
It's a tricky matter. The search for justice can easily slip into a witch hunt after a civil war such as Libya's. But the leaders of the new Libya have little choice. Transitional justice needs to be a top priority for the country to move forward.